Senate will come to order. Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Senate roll call, Legislative Day 15, Thursday, February 26th. Anderson? Here. Barlow? Present. Boner? Here. Brennan? Here. Case? Present. Cooper? Here. Prego? Here. Crum? Present. Dockstetter?
Excused.
Excused. Driscoll?
Here.
French?
Here.
Guru?
Here.
Hicks? Hutchings? Ide?
Here.
Jones? Cole?
Present.
Landon?
Here.
Larson?
Here.
Love?
Here.
McEwen?
Here.
Nethercott? Olson?
Here.
Pappas?
Here.
Pearson? Rothfuss?
Here.
Salazar?
Here.
Schuler?
Here.
Scott?
Here.
Steinmetz? Hicks?
Excused.
Excused. And President Biden.
Here.
29 present, 2 excused.
Thanks, Ellen. Today's pastor of the day, or chaplain of the day, is Pastor Edward Daggett from Homestead Baptist Church. Pastor Daggett.
Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, dear Lord, thank you so much for the day you've given us, Lord. The privilege, Lord, to be able to open our eyes and to serve another day. I pray, Lord, for your blessings upon this chamber. I pray, Heavenly Father, that please you illumine the minds, the hearts and soul of every senator as they are going to make decisions, Lord, for this beautiful community of Wyoming. I pray, Lord, that the decisions will be made this morning will be of a blessing and of enrichment of the lives of the people of this beautiful state. Lord, we love you, and we pray for the windows of heaven to be open and your blessings to be poured down upon every single person here in this place, in this beautiful place, Lord, that you have given us. We love you, and thank you so much for what you've done. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray this. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Senator Anderson, will you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading, correction, and approval of journal. Will the reading clerk please read the journal committee report?
Mr. President, the Journal Committee reports that the Journal of Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Senator Crum, Chairman.
Are there any objections? There being none, the report is adopted. We have a doctor of the day today, Dr. Angus McAlpin from Fort Washakie. Please welcome Dr. McAlpin to the chambers today. And we have a nurse of the day, Alicia Lepard from Gillette, Wyoming. So welcome to the nurse. Nice practicing. Thank you both for being with us today. All right. This day in Wyoming history, on this date in 1929, President Silent Calvin Coolidge signed legislation establishing Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, protecting 96,000 acres on the Teton Range. Quote of the day, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Good old Nelson Mandela. Here's a good dad joke for the day. My daughter said she wanted me to treat her like a princess, so I married her off to a stranger to strengthen my alliance with France. Be careful what you wish for. She likes the Louvre, so I guess that's good. Announcements. Today, we are blessed to have Wyoming's 9th Poet Laureate, Barbara Smith, who was appointed by Governor Gordon in 2023. Barbara taught for 38 years at Western Wyoming Community College, where she brought various visiting writers to the school's campus to meet and inspire students. She's an accomplished writer herself and published her first full-length poetry collection titled Putting a Name on It. Fellow senators, please help me welcome Ms. Smith to the Senate.
Hi. Hello. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I'm your entertainment before the battles begin, huh? Yeah. A lot of people ask about the nature of the people in Wyoming and the nature of Wyoming. We're a mystery to a lot of people, although we're not a mystery to ourselves, I'm sure. And so I have a few thoughts about what we're like as opposed to what people think of us. The first poem is called Facing the Elements. And by the way, the winds were 75 mile an hour on Elk Mountain yesterday, so I made it. But this is one that started out with a real incident that happened to me, called Facing the Elements. At the gas station one stormy day, a woman pulls up, cracks her window, screams, "How can you people live here? Hundreds of miles of nothing. You could die out there." She rolls her window up tight. Used to the comfort of trees hugging the road, the buffeting wind unsettles her. This wide sky shows how small we really are. At home, as the snow falls and the wind whistles in tune with the kettle, I hear her frightened voice. You could die out there. When you live in the West, pay attention. Listen. Earth, air, fire, and water are your constant companions. But so are sunrises, mockingbird mornings, when the curtains swell with sweet spring. Without the storms, the sago lilies would not bloom on the red desert. Spring unbidden in a place of their choosing. And the antelope would not run free, cutting before you on the road to the lake. The hot winds of summer remind you, savor this, it will change. You could die out there. You gotta be tough. Okay, this one is called A Different Kind of Green. You move here for the job, and the first thing you do is whine. But where are the trees? Where is the green grass? By that, you mean oak, pine, maple, Kentucky blue. A certain hue so green it hurts the eye in spring. Buddy, I have news for you. There is another side to the continental divide, and you're in it. There are no oak on the red desert, and a magnolia wouldn't last any longer than Blanche Dubois out on the Bitter Creek. Sometime late in the spring, on your way to work, pull over, walk the desert. The sage smells a different kind of green. For ice lives under the desert sands where the small ones need water. The greasewood perks up. A sago lily unfurls her muted glory, unnoticed among the blue-green ground cover in her own kind of Easter. Yeah. Thank you. You're very kind. I taught school for a number of years at Western Wyoming Community College, and I had some foreign exchange students who were completely mystified by where they landed. And this one started out as something one of them said, and then it moved on years later, I'm sure. It's called Smiles, and it tells you something about the nature of the Wyoming people. You Americans, the French girl said, you are always smiling. Too much smiling, like the dog who rolls on his back, subservient. We smile at her, and she shakes her head. You can't help it, always smiling. Out west, on a gravel road, two pickups meet. The drivers raise 2 fingers from the wheel or tip their hats. Hello, that's a smile. With our masks on these days, we may miss the smiles. We greet one another now with a nod from afar. But as we tip our heads, our eyes say, we see you. We are still here, smiling. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you very much. Oh.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your poetry with us. And thank you for visiting the Wyoming Senate. Please come back. Thank you.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
Mr. President, I'd like the Senate to recognize hardworking women across Wyoming from the trucking industry. Here today, they play a part in our economy, transporting goods and services all across our state, thousands of jobs connecting us to the world. We thank them for Wyoming and America. Wyoming Trucking Association, members right up here. Please stand, folks.
Welcome to the Senate. Good to have you here. More privileges. Senator Case.
Mr. President, I'm about to get in trouble, but not with you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
So I want to tell you a little bit about more about Dr. Angus McAlpin, that's here as our Doctor of the Day today. He's actually the director of the Shoshone Health Program, which is what we call a 638 program, meaning it's where the Shoshone tribe has taken over the provision of health care from the federal government and is providing it for themselves. He's the first director of the program. He's grown the program. It's meaning big changes and better things for my constituents and all our friendly citizens of Wyoming from the Wind River Indian Reservation. That's a huge accomplishment. Before that, he was my physician, Mr. President, and a great physician at that, and a good friend. So really, I hope you get a chance to talk to him today about healthcare on the Wind River Reservation and kind of more how their healthcare and our healthcare and how we all work together in Wyoming. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Case, and thank you again, Dr. McAlpin, for all you do for our great state. And thanks for keeping Senator Case alive all these years. No easy task there. All right. Any other privileges? Okay, a reminder, tomorrow is the deadline for interim topic submissions. Please submit your proposed topics using the form on the website no later than noon tomorrow. It is noon tomorrow for interim topics. All right. Looks like we have some concurrences, or a concurrence. It's that time of year. Thank you. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, good chairman of Ag, Senator Ide. Are you ready on message number, what do we got, 197? Requesting concurrence on Senate File 16. If you are, I'll have it read in.
Go ahead.
Okay. Would the reading clerk please read it in?
Message 197, Senate File 16, subleasing of state lands exemptions.
Okay. Senator Ide.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bear with me, the first time I've ever had to do a concurrence here, so need to get the book out here and get it right. Mr. President, I would move concurrence on message number 197 and urge you to vote aye. And I'll explain this. This is just a cleanup here. The chamber down the hall did some good work on some language in here that didn't necessarily need to be in there. And I've checked with the bringer of the bill, the good senator from Buffalo, or the one that carried the bill in LSO. All it does is eliminates paragraph B on page 3, which is already in statute. And so the House picked up on, or the chamber down the hall picked up on that, and we don't need it in there. So I encourage you to vote aye on this concurrence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Any discussion on the concurrence? Seeing none, the motion is that the Senate do concur on Senate File 16 and vote aye. The Assistant Chief Clerk will please call the roll.
Concurrence on Senate File 16. Anderson? Aye. Aye. Barlow? Aye. Boner? Aye. Brennan? Aye. Aye. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Crago? Aye. Crum? Aye. Dockstetter excused. Driscoll? Aye. French? Aye. Garou? Aye. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? Aye. Ide? Aye. Jones? Aye. Kolb? Aye. Landon? Aye. Larson? Aye. Love? Aye. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? Aye. Olson? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Pearson? Aye. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Conflict? Steinmetz? Aye. President Beitman?
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. Concurrence on Senate File 16, 29 aye, 1 conflict, 1 excused.
Thank you. By your vote, you have concurred on Senate File 16. All right, reports from standing committees.
Mr. President, dated February 25th, 2026, your committee number 1, Judiciary, to whom was referred House Bill 10 engrossed, sexually explicit materials and libraries requirements, respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass as amended. Voting aye, Senators Hicks, Kolb, and Olson. Voting no, Senators Crago and Crum. Signed, Senator Olson, Chairman. Mr. President, dated February 26, 2026, your committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom was referred House Bill 98, Prohibit Red Flag Gun Seizure Act Penalty Amendments, respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Voting aye, Senators Crago, Ide, Love, McEwen, and Pearson. Signed, Senator Ide, Chairman. Mr. President, dated February 26, 2026, your committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom was referred House Bill 69 engrossed, Department of Health Land Transfers, respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Voting aye, Senators Crago, Ide, McEwen, Pearson, excused Senator Love. Signed, Senator Ide, Chairman. Mr. President, your committee number 8, Transportation, Highways, and Military Affairs, to whom was referred House Bill 145 engrossed, removing triple taxation for resident EV drivers. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Voting aye, Senators Anderson, Barlow, Cooper, Pappas. Voting no, Senator Kolb. Signed, Senator Pappas, Chairman. Mr. President, dated February 25th, 2026, your committee number 10, Labor, Health, and Social Services, to whom was referred House Bill 3, Wyoming Pregnancy Centers, Autonomy and Rights, respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass with the following amendment. Voting aye, Senators Brennan, Crum, Hutchings, Scott, and Steinmetz. Signed, Senator Brennan, Chairman. Mr. President, dated February 25th, 2026, your committee number 3, Revenue, to whom was referred House Bill 130 engrossed, Second Amendment Protection Act amendments. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass as amended. Voting aye, Senators Case, Dockstader, Ide, McEwen. Voting no, Senator Pappas. Signed, Senator McEwen, Chairman.
Thank you. Bills on second reading. Thanks. Senate File 8, House Bill 8, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 8, Stalking of Minors, sponsored by Judiciary.
House Bill 8 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 9, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 9, engrossed, Grooming of Children, Offenses and Amendments, sponsored by Judiciary.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
House Bill 9, second reading, amendment number 1, page 5, line 5.
Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 9 and do ask for your favorable consideration. Committee kind of wrestled with this idea in the committee itself, thought about bringing this amendment and decided not to. And then once we brought this bill to the floor and had some conversation about the bill, realized that this portion of the elements of the crime of grooming confuses the bill and does little to advance its objective. So I would just ask for your favorable consideration of this amendment to remove some unnecessary language from the elements of the crime. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Discussion on the amendment. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're voting on second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 9. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has been adopted. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none, House Bill 9 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 26, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 26, engrossed, Vehicle Registration Fees, Tribal Governments, sponsored by Representative Posey.
House Bill 26, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 32, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 32, engrossed, English Proficiency, Commercial Motor Vehicle Drivers, sponsored by Transportation.
House Bill 32, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 36, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 36, engrossed, Forestry Division Wildland Fire Modules, sponsored by Appropriations.
House Bill 36, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 106, second reading of the House Bill.
House Bill 106, Smoke Buster Module Leaders, sponsored by appropriations.
House Bill 106, having been read two separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, is so ordered. House Bill 111, second reading of the House Bill.
House Bill 111, engrossed, state-funded capital construction, sponsored by appropriations.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the first amendment?
House Bill 111, second reading, amendment number 1, page 12, after line 21.
Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 111 and ask the body's favorable consideration. Mr. President, quite a while back, in 2019, we put in place in session law for the Wyoming new student housing project quite a bit of language that provided for details of what should be built and where it should be built, and lots of management of that project. Well, Mr. President, here we are 7 years later, and those buildings have been built. I hope you've all seen them and walked through them. They're incredible. That was a great project. But there's one point of consternation that's coming up, and that is a little bit of language that you'll see in the amendment on lines 38 through 40, which was in the original CapCon appropriation from way back in 2019, that the area east of the Wyoming Union shall be a common space that accentuates the history, climate, and outdoor nature of Wyoming. Currently, Mr. President, we call that the Union parking lot. And there's a strong desire by the students, as it turns out, to still have a Union parking lot. And so there's been a lot of discussion. The university feels compelled to follow this language. The students would much rather have access to the Union and access to the half acre than have a giant green space with perhaps some nice boulders in it at that point in time and in that location. So all this does is remove that original directive from the appropriation back in 2019 to give flexibility to the university and to the students to talk this out and to figure out how to program that space without having a requirement in statute that we turn the Union parking lot into a green space. So that's what this amendment does. There is no appropriation, new appropriation, no additional dollars or anything like that. It just reaches back into that prior appropriation, crosses out this one sentence, and allows full flexibility for the university and the students to figure out how to use that space appropriately.
Discussion on the amendment. Senator Landon.
Mr. President, my face is kind of red. I was on that task force, but I will say that I didn't have anything to do with this language. That came out of an appropriations committee, and you know those appropriations guys. No, that was a great project, and this is a great amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Landon. Senator Hicks, what do you have to say for yourself?
Mr. Chairman, my colleague was right. It was a great but extremely expensive project. In fact, I think we still have some obligations there if you see our mineral severance taxes. But Mr. Chairman, the question I have is just why this didn't show up in the normal process. I think it's innocuous for the most part, but you know, typically in this CapCon and goes through the school building and the university and appropriations, and I appreciate my colleague for looking out for his area, but how come this wasn't raised earlier is the question.
Further discussion before the sponsor? Anybody else? Senator Landon, for your second time.
Mr. President, yeah, I'll take the first stab at that. That was a staging area. All of that facility was taken up staging, you know, to construct those buildings. And this obviously would be the last in line of considerations, I'm sure. And I think the senator from Albany County is right. I think we need to get the language out of there and let them use it as a parking lot, which they desperately need. So that, I'm pretty certain that's probably it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for the sponsor? Senator Crum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good senator from central Wyoming is correct. It was a staging area. It needs to be a parking lot. Thousands, and I mean that, thousands of requests to make this a parking lot. So I would appreciate a yes vote on this.
Thank you, sir. Senator Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Don't forget about your school buses that need to drop kids off for field trips over there because it's getting a little tight. So I'm in favor of the parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. She almost had to vote conflict, but we'll let her slide. All right, back to you, Senator Rothfuss, for your second time.
Thank you, Mr. President, for my second time. Mr. President, this did go through the process, but it's a different process than we're used to. See, we've got all of these people we call students at the University of Wyoming, and they're represented by an organization called ASUW, the Associated Students of the University of Wyoming. And they took it through their process, and here's their resolution saying, please stop building a green space and leave us with the Union parking lot. And I represent those folks too. So this came through the process. They instructed me to bring this amendment. It didn't go through the administration. It didn't go through the trustees. It came through the students, and I work for them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We're voting on second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 111. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has been adopted. Second reading amendment number 2.
House Bill 111, second reading, amendment number 2, page 4, after line 14.
Senator Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move second reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 111. Folks, this was on the committee of the whole. I did a fairly poor job of getting things explained really well. This is for a new building at Gillette College. I did have some questions I'm going to answer. Gillette College will get accreditation. I can look everybody in the eye and tell you they're going to get it. They were worried about building buildings on a place it's not a college, it's going to be. This will be the Enzi Applied Learning Center in honor of Senator Enzi, long-term senator that served in this body with a lot of honor and in DC with a lot of honor, was known for doing a lot of great things. It's $16 million general fund money that has to be matched 1-to-1 with money that is non-state money. And it also does something else, and that's where I'm going to ask for some help on the explanation. It makes them raise, in order to access these funds, they have to raise their mill levy to 4 mills, which has a fairly big long-term impact, I believe, across the state. And with that, I'm going to stand for questions and let a couple of guys phone a friend do a better job than I do on this.
Thank you, Senator Driscoll. Discussion? Senator Barlow.
Mr. President, thank you, members of the body. So I'm going to speak to the 4 mills. As you will recall, current statute, it's actually listed in Romanet I of this amendment, prohibits a community college is not assessing 4 mills from receiving any state funds. And there are very few ways they can get that. There are a few programs in the last couple of sessions that were directed toward workforce service that Gillette College was able to access because they were not directed through the Community College Commission. But other than that, Gillette College receives no direct state support for its programming. Its employees don't receive the direct support for health insurance, et cetera, go down the line. But we still have to come back and get authorization to build buildings. So we've done this in the past, come and get authorization, but the community and others have to actually pay for the funding unless there's a specific appropriation. So what I would respectfully say is, if Gillette College, which will, when it's certified, when it becomes accredited, and also goes to 4 mills, then it will have access to the state program, to this Community College Commission, just like our other 7. But we're a net add to the system. We have good numbers of students, and we have a good assessed value. So we are not going to pull resources from other colleges because we're actually a net add to the system. So, Mr. President, what I would say is I think this puts 2 high bars. One, the mill levy, and that requires an elected board to make the decision to raise that mill levy. I think it's right at the 3.2 right now, in that range right now. A couple years ago, we were at 2.7 when our assessed value was higher. I mean, that's what they need for operations. But to go to the next step, to expand this college as it becomes accredited and expand it, and their expansion, I want to speak to the expansion just one. The expansion is because we have a tremendous opportunity coming with advanced nuclear fuel facility in our community. And that facility, that company has come to the community college and says, let's partner, let's get together because we need a workforce. We need a trained workforce in this community, and you're going to be that training ground. We have a healthcare facility in our community, several, both a hospital and now a clinic that's coming in. They're going to do some new cutting edge tech medical things, and they need a workforce. So there's partnerships growing in this community. And this space, this NZ building, is about having that flexible space, so that we can have the appropriate labs and the appropriate settings for students to learn the skills, certificate skills they need for the industries in this community, and quite honestly, across Wyoming. So I hope you'll support this. There are high bars. You're an elected official, you're gonna raise taxes, you better have a very good plan about what the consequences of that and what the outcomes will be of that for your community and for Wyoming. And second, they have to raise the money. So nothing gets expended here until the mill levy is raised and the money is collected. So I'd ask for your favorable consideration and stand for any questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Let's go to Senator Steinmetz first.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just curious as to why we need the state funds, if the college will contribute, if we assess the 4 mills. I know in my community, where we have a community college of our own, we built the buildings off of the mills ourselves with our own tax dollars. And so we did an A-Tech building and a C-Tech building and all of that. So for the $16 or $32 million and one of our wealthy counties, just wondering, and if they are providing a net into the situation, wouldn't it be more affordable for the constituents to actually build the building themselves? Just a question.
Okay. Senator Anderson.
Mr. President, on and for this amendment, the Campbell County guys have done a lot with their facility at the community college. They've built all the buildings up to this point themselves, the city and the county. And I think we should help them with this. This is for all of Wyoming. This facility would train people for Kemmerer use, for Casper use, for all the nuclear facilities. I'm glad to be part of helping Campbell County with one of their buildings at their college. And if you haven't been to that college, there's quite a few buildings there already that they have paid for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on for the amendment. These are wonderful opportunities when we have the chance to get investment from private donors and match them and build out our colleges. But moreover, with this particular amendment, the requirement of going to 4 mills, this is something that I believe we've really needed to do. It strengthens our entire community college system. When Gillette College ends up at 4 mills, it really is an essential part of the overall process. So to me, building out the NZ Center, that's something that we know needs to happen. It's going to be a vital part of that campus, and we'll really support learning and education there. But at the same time, the requirement of going to 4 mills, I think, is a natural next step in progression as Gillette College becomes accredited. We want to see that, and so this is overall a very good amendment. I urge the body to support.
Anybody else wish to speak? Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, just honestly ask for your support. Folks, this college is a classic one. I'm back to COVID days, but I know it well before that. 100% of their graduates all had job offers at that point in time, and I think it's about the same. If you go around Crook, Campbell, and Weston County, you'll find that virtually all of the kids out of that college end up working right back in our local communities. This is a big deal. I've been an incredible big supporter of Gillette College. They play a major role as far as the economics of Northeast Wyoming, and this is a key part of it with these new projects coming in and what's going. This really takes the next step. Last piece, and it was kind of brought out, most all the buildings, not only did they build them, they've paid for all the maintenance on them. It's been just basically what the old days, over across the middle of the state, one of the first community colleges. It was truly just funded by the town pretty much to start with, down in the county. And now they're trying to reach out and they're growing. They're a great college, great enrollment, and they work close with the other colleges around them. So I'd ask for your aye vote.
All right. We're voting on second reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 111. There's an appropriation, so we'll need a roll call vote. Assistant Chief Clerk will call the roll.
Second reading, House Bill 111, Amendment Number 2. Anderson? Aye. Barlow? Aye. Boner? Aye. Brennan? Aye. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Crago? Aye. Crum? Aye. Dockstetter excused. Driscoll? Aye. French? No. Garou? Aye. Hicks? Hutchings? Aye. Ide? No. Jones? Aye. Kolb? No. Landon? Aye. Larson? No. Love? Aye. McEwen? No. Nethercott? Aye. Olson? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Pearson? No. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? No. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? No. Hicks? No. President Beitman?
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Hutchings? No. Closing vote. Hicks? No to aye. Closing vote. Vote closed. House Bill 11, second reading, amendment number 2, 21 aye, 9 no, 1 excused.
Second reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 111 has been adopted. Back on the bill, Senator Scott.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor, if I may.
Can we do it after the bills over, between second and third? Let's do that. So we are back on the bill. Anybody wish to speak on Senate or House Bill 111? Seeing none. House Bill 111 having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection is so ordered. House Bill 112, second reading of the House Bill.
House Bill 112, Riverton State Office Task Force Sunset, sponsored by Appropriations.
House Bill 112, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection is so ordered. All right, Senator Scott.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
Mr. President, in the balcony above you, I'm informed we have the Fort Casper Academy 4th grade students down here visiting, and ask them to be standing and ask the Senate to make them welcome.
All right. Welcome to the Senate, Fort Casper. Senator Craig.
Thank you, Mr. President. Privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Up in the North Gallery, the Wyoming Association of Conservation Districts have joined us. The association is a nonprofit organization that represents Wyoming's 34 conservation districts and their 170 elected board members. Conservation districts are local units of government established under state law to carry out natural resource management programs at the local level. They work with landowners, counties, cities, towns, and other community organizations to conserve land and water resources on private and public lands. Joining us today are representatives from the Cody Conservation District, the Converse County Conservation District, Crook County Natural Resources District, Laramie County Conservation District, Sublette County Conservation District, and the Weston County Natural Resource District, and of course, Holly Kennedy, the executive director, is with them. So please help me welcome them and thank them for the work they do.
All right. Welcome to the Senate. Thanks for coming down. It's good to have you here. Senator Love.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
The floor is yours.
In the balcony above you, we also have the Platte County Chamber of Commerce Director, Tricia Cancino, and my assistant, Jason Gold. Very good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
All right, Senator Love is leading the privilege of the floor tally for the session. Senator Ide.
This is my first one. Privilege
Let
of
her
the
rip,
floor.
Senator Ide.
I don't know if they've left yet, and I wanted to do a special shout out to a young man with Fort Casper Academy up there. He's real special to my wife and I. His name is Isaac Nelson. He's just been elected to his student council there. He's a ferocious reader and just a really neat young man. So if he's still up there in the balcony, shout out to Isaac Nelson.
Shout out to Isaac, but I think they flew the coop. All right. Anybody else? All right, let's go into third reading. Bills on third reading and final passage. Madam Majority Floor Leader, do you have a consent list for us?
I do, Mr. President. I move the third reading consent list as follows. House Bill 34, firefighters' retirement plans. House Bill 35, firefighters' paid leave and hazard pay. House Bill 85, post-election audit procedures. House Bill 105, K through 12 school facilities appropriations 2. House Bill 107, local government distributions. And House Joint Resolution 2, federal mineral royalties state share.
Thank you, Madam Majority Floor Leader. Would anybody like any of these bills removed from the consent list? Senator Case.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would ask that House Bill 85, post-election audit procedures, be removed from the consent list.
Okay. Are there any others? Seeing none. Having been read 3 separate times, the question is, shall these bills pass the Senate? House Bill 34, firefighters' retirement plans. House Bill 35, firefighters' paid leave and hazard pay. House Bill 105, K-12 school facilities appropriations 2. House Bill 107, local government distributions. And House Joint Resolution 2, federal mineral royalties state share. The chief clerk, or the assistant chief clerk, will call the roll.
On the consent list, Anderson? Aye. Barlow? Boner? Brennan? Aye. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Crago? Aye. Crum? Aye. Dockstetter excused. Driscoll? Aye. French? Aye. Garou? Aye. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? Aye. Ide? Aye. Jones? Kolb? Aye. Landon? Aye. Larson? Love? Aye. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? Olson? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Pearson? Aye. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? Aye. President Biteman?
Aye.
On the consent list, 30 aye, 1 excused. House Bill 34, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing vote closed. House Bill 34, 30 aye, 1 excused. House Bill 35, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing vote closed. House Bill 35, 30 aye, 1 excused. House Bill 105, are there any changes? Scott?
No.
No. Olson? Conflict. McEwen? Ida no. Ida no. Steinmetz? Steinmetz, Ida no. Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. House Bill 105, 25 aye, 4 no, 1 conflict, 1 excused. House Bill 107, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Bill 107, 30 aye, 1 excused. And finally, House Joint Resolution number 2. Are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Joint Resolution 30 aye, 1 excused.
Thank you. Having received the affirmative vote of the majority of the members elected to the Senate, House Bill 34, Firefighters Retirement Plans, House Bill 35, Firefighters Paid Leave and Hazard Pay, House Bill 105, K-12 School Facilities Appropriations 2, House Bill 107, Local Government Distributions, and House Joint Resolution 2, Federal Mineral Royalty State Share have passed the Senate. Bills on third reading. House Bill 85, third reading of the House Bill.
House Bill 85, engrossed, post-election audit procedures, an act relating to elections sponsored by management audit.
Discussion on the bill. Senator Case.
Mr. President, your county clerks are back and they've had their Wheaties. Mr. President, they don't like this bill. This bill wasn't a product of our normal process of looking at election bills. Mr. President, the Wyoming County clerks run the best elections in the country by any measure, any measure. For the past 3 years, they've been browbeaten and knocked down with more election-related bills that we've passed than have existed in the previous 90 years. Some of those bills were no doubt needed, sponsored by Committee I Chair, Mr. President. But I'm telling you, this is not one of them. And I'm really proud of them for standing up, and I stand with them to ask you to kill this bill today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Discussion on the bill. Senator Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm in favor of this bill because obviously I'm going to support the will of the people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Landon.
Mr. President, thank you. I'm going to stand with my chairman of corporations on this one. You might recall that during a committee of the whole, I stood and expressed a concern about just square footage and people milling in and around these facilities after the election. But really, kind of comes down to what I taught my kids growing up. More is not better. And throwing more and more people into those rooms when our county clerks are trying to go through a certification process, trying to do the post-election stuff that we require them to do, more is not better. In this case, it opens the door for all sorts of other things. This just is not a good bill. I ask you to defeat it.
Okay, Senator Boner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm for the bill, and as a reminder, we had two amendments that address the concerns of the clerks. So I'm just going to read for a letter I got from the County Clerks Association. House Bill 85 is a policy decision for y'all to make. But without the amendments that we've approved, so that we have approved the amendments, we believe that the bill will be harmful to election administration. So we had an amendment to deal with the concern that we just heard about too many people being packed into that room. The clerks now have the ability to limit the number of people in the room. We have another amendment brought by my colleague from the southwest corner of the state that addresses the concerns with ballot security. So to say that the clerks are opposed to it, I don't think that's accurate, considering the action that this chamber has taken to approve the bill, to make sure it's functional and can be administered by the clerks, and to ensure that the secrecy of the ballots is guaranteed. So, as a reminder, this bill is meant to ensure that the provisions that this body only 3 years ago enacted into law are actually followed through with, and I completely agree with the first speaker, that our elections are excellent. We don't have the problems you see throughout the country. But part of being a competent professional is continuing to look for ways to improve upon the existing system. That's what our clerks have done. They've been working with us for 2 to 3 years now in good faith. I appreciate that. They take this seriously, and this is a part of the continued effort to make these adjustments, to continue to improve the system and continue to earn the trust of the public, which, due to no fault of anybody in the state, the confidence in our elections has been eroded because of national issues. We have to acknowledge that and counter that and react to that. This is a bill that makes this modest adjustment, and we've made amendments to take care of the concerns of the clerks. So I'm for the bill.
Thank you. Senator Ide.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'll fully concur with the good senator in front of me. Post-election audit transparency, just to get trust in the people. We've lost some of that. We had a few issues this last election cycle. I was in on that committee and listened to a lot of the discussion there. And, you know, I don't think maybe 100% of the clerks agree with what was referenced earlier. And I think the people really want transparency. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I certainly appreciate the two previous speakers' commentary that our elections have no issues and that they support our clerks. I tried that argument in 22, but there's always room for improvement. It sounded very similar to speeches I gave all across this state. The fact is, we can continue to perpetuate the storm we are trying to avoid, that we didn't create, but national rhetoric did. Wyoming elections are secure, thanks to our county clerks. And I think the commentary from our county clerks that the bill is improved with amendments does not indicate their overwhelming support or support of the bill at all. I think what they have experienced over the last 6 years is fear. And so I know that they are afraid to speak directly. I think they've shown more courage with this bill than they have with others, because there is retaliation. They are elected officials as well, and they have to overcome that national rhetoric too. And what happens if you don't overcome that national rhetoric? You lose. And so sometimes you have to show the level of courage and discretion to rise above that populism, to rise above that public perception, and just do what's right. And listen to your clerks who are telling you this doesn't work for us, because they believe in election transparency, as we all do here. Enough is enough. Enough, we have passed more election reform. It's absurd. Pandering to this belief that our elections are not secure, and they are secure thanks to our county clerks. They do not support this bill. Vote no on this bill. We are adding more confusion and just feeding this perception that there's a challenge to our elections in this state. There is not. Stand with the clerks. Stand with the chairman.
Senator Anderson.
Mr. President, on and against this bill, this is some bad legislation. Thank you.
Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think as has been mentioned already, the amendments, I think, help the bill. But again, if it's a bad bill, sometimes just helping it out isn't necessarily such a good thing. I really think the bill came as a result of maybe one county not doing a good job. I hate to see us pass legislation to take care of one issue or a couple of issues when everybody else really is doing a good job. Even though the amendment helped out because it said now we can't, allow 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 people in there to see them, but they can still go in there. They can still go in there, and right now, the bill, our election judges and our canvass board members are already there, and if there's an issue, they can look at the ballots. But we want to maintain that secrecy, just as I mentioned, the other day about Section 6, in Article 6, Section 11 in our Constitution. We want to maintain secrecy of our ballot, and I still think there's an opening there, and I think we need to close the gap, and I think we should be against this bill.
Anybody else? Senator Larson.
Mr. President, thank you. I just wanted to comment a little bit. This bill requires increased transparency, and that's what our citizens want. That keeps record keeping and observers to be able to register objections, which will be provided to the Secretary of State's office. The bill requires 2 electors of different political parties must be present for the post-election audit, and others can join. The minutes of the audit should be taken, and they will be sent to the Secretary of State also. So I'm on this bill and ask for your favorable vote.
Senator Baru.
Thank you, Mr. President. On and against. First to the question about the clerks, I heard from my clerk last night and again this morning, and clerks from around the western part of the state. They're firmly against this bill. Why? Mr. President, as one of the earlier speakers mentioned, there's a lot of rhetoric around this issue. We've had more election integrity bills brought in this legislature than we've had election irregularities since statehood. Message is the system works. Even in the county that another speaker mentioned where there were some irregularities, the system worked. The system worked at the canvassing board level, and corrections were made. And then when the audit procedure was found to be wrong, the situation now has become quite dire for the clerk involved. The system works. I've been in office, blessed to be in office for about 20 years, but I was out of office for about 10, and each year I volunteered to work in the election office, and we counted absentee ballots. Our local minister's wife was represented one party, and I represented the other, and we sat and we counted ballots. We were the only ones in a room who opened ballots, who knew the names of the people who voted. We took that very seriously. Our clerk took it very seriously. We sat in a room alone, and we did it, the 2 of us, and then everything was checked and cross-checked by professional election officials, all being observed and watched all the time by members of both parties. The system, Mr. President, works. Vote for the system that works. Vote against this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Love.
Thank you, Mr. President. This might come as a surprise to some in the room, but I'm going to be against this bill. Having served in this capacity and worked with our county clerks and gone through the process, I have seen shortfalls in the process, and I've seen the remedies that it offers. I've worked through those. Many of you witnessed those in the paper. Part of the reason those work is that we were able to very intricately go through the process with our clerk. We identified anything that we might have seen as a potential issue, and then we worked to have the solutions before the election. And so this system does work. It takes time. It does create some issue in our community because of those who want to cast doubt on the system, but the system works very well. If there are measures that can be taken to improve it, and if there's an opportunity to give observation for those in the public, that is great. But by statute, there are certain people required in that room to do that job. And if you clutter that room with other people, that create chaos or issue in that room, then those people are less likely to be successful in accomplishing the outcome that's desired for the public. And so I think maybe there is a possible legislation. I hear that the clerks could help author something that would be better, but this is not the mechanism to do this with. And therefore, I'm against the bill, and I would gladly work with anybody that wants to work with our clerks to try to refine the system, make it better, and create a public opportunity. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on the bill? Seeing none, question being called. We're voting on third reading of having been read 3 separate times. The question is, shall House Bill 85 pass the Senate? The Assistant Chief Clerk will call the roll.
Third reading roll call, House Bill 85. Anderson? No. Barlow? No. Boner? Aye. Brennan? No. Case? No. Cooper? No. Crago? No. Crum? No. Dockstetter excused. Driscoll? No. French? Aye. Garou? No. Hicks? No. Hutchings? Aye. Aye. Jones? No. Kolb? No. Landon? No. Larson? Aye. Love? No. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? No. Olson? No. Pappas? No. Pearson? Aye. Rothfuss? No. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? No. Scott? No. Steinmetz? No. President Beitman?
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. House Bill 85, 9 ayes, 21 noes, 1 excused.
Having failed to receive the affirmative vote of the majority of the members elected to the Senate, House Bill 85 has failed to pass the Senate. All right, Madam Majority Floor Leader, that clears the desk. Oh, Senator Cooper, are you protesting going in the cow or something?
Privilege of the floor.
Okay, privilege of the floor.
All right, so the good senator in front of me here, I'm sure under threat of life and limb, has neglected to introduce a couple of guests he has. So
Okay.
I'm not under that threat. So I would like to introduce the good senator's wife, Kristen Crago, and his mother, Linda.
All right. No wonder why he's on his best behavior. Welcome to the Senate. Okay, anybody else before we go in the committee of the whole? Or Madam Majority Floor Leader?
Mr. President, I move that the Senate resolve itself into committee of the whole.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Senator Cooper, come on down, Coop. All right.
Committee of the whole, please come to order. Which one we want first? This one? First bill for our consideration today is House Bill number 0002. Will the reading clerk please read the bill?
House Bill 2, engrossed. Fast Track Permits Act, an act relating to city, county, state, and local powers, referred to committee number 7, which returned a do pass recommendation, voting aye, Senators Boner, Case, Dockstader, Landon, excuse Senator Steinmetz, signed Senator Case, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the bill. What is your pleasure? Looks like maybe Senator Case is standing up back there. Senator Case?
Thank you very much.
You needed a mic. Here we go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I move that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report it, do so with the due pass recommendation on House Bill 2, Fast Track Permits Act. There are two Senate sponsors of this fine bill, and one of them is the majority floor leader. Were you gonna? And the other one's off the floor. Fast Track Permits Act. Sorry about that. This is a job for, you know, those House members, they don't do a very good job of finding their Senate sponsors and warning.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good senators, what we have here is House Bill 2, Fast Track Permits Act. As you can see, this bill is numbered number 2, which was very early on in our process. And that actually reflects the hard work that the sponsors and other stakeholders put into this bill throughout the interim, although generally against our rules. This is this bill's second version before the legislature because it's gone through that much work, dying previously in previous years, and finally coming to this body as a result of all the stakeholder feedback on this bill. Really stems out of Laramie County and a desire to make the permitting process associated with our regulatory structure more streamlined. And so working with our city and other municipalities across the state really identifies what that application process looks like in order to get a fast track permit to streamline residential construction and additional construction projects within our community and our state, just to help streamline that process and make it faster. Seeing you're all very interested in this bill, that's it at a high level. I'm happy to answer questions if you're interested in learning more, but that's the origin of the bill, and the reason for it is to reduce those regulations and to streamline that process and timeline. Thank you, good senators.
Further discussion, Senator Hutchins?
Chairman, on page 3, just wondering about line 6, and then, or alpha, and then line 13C, where it says no more than 3 stories above grade in height, and then we go down to 13, has no more than 3,000 square feet of finished flooring. Just wondering about the limitations there. Thank you.
Senator Case?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. You know, this is a good bill. It came through the committee. It's designed to deal with residential construction only, and it's designed to speed up the permitting process with respect to residential construction, to make sure that once you apply for a permit, it's the plan review and the permit is granted in a timely basis. But to do that, there's some limitations here. It doesn't mean you can't build a house bigger than 3,000 square feet or more than 3 stories, depending on the local situation. But to qualify for this fast track process, to get it done in a timely manner, and I believe that the number of days is 30 days to get the permit, Mr. Chairman, it requires kind of a little bit more simplified, you know, if it's a fairly simple home, you're going to get it done in 30 days. If it's something really complicated, they need more time, and that's only fair. I will say that in the committee, Mr. Chairman, there was broad support for this bill, and we had testimony from building inspectors and the planners. We had testimony from the municipalities. We had testimony from the House sponsors, and it was all very favorable. I think the committee was glad to move this bill forward. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
Senator Hutchins again, please.
So much, Mr. Chairman, and to the good senator that answered those questions. I know a lot of times we like to say that people were in agreement with these bills. Can you just offer maybe a couple of what people disagree about on this bill? Thank you.
Senator Wright.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too am like this bill, other than a little bit of some of the language in there on complying with international building code. I don't think it's necessary. I think we've already adopted it in Wyoming, but I don't think we need to further entrench ourselves with that language. Just a comment. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Senator Case?
Mr. Chairman, I don't recall, and please help me, members of the committee that are still here, anybody testifying against this bill in the committee. I don't believe anybody did.
Further discussion? Seeing none, since we're ready for the question, all those in favor of Senator Case's motion, when the committee of the whole rises report, do so with the favorable recommendation of House Bill 2, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That bill has passed the committee of the whole. The next bill for our consideration is House Bill number 3. Reading clerk, please read the bill.
House Bill 3, Wyoming Pregnancy Centers Autonomy and Rights.
Mr. Chair. I'm getting there. Senator Scott?
Mr. Chairman, would it be possible to lay that back until this afternoon? It was an extensive amendment in preparation, and we had no idea it was going to be on general file this quickly, so we didn't put an urgency on it.
Senator Nethercott?
Move that the committee of the whole beg leave to rise and sit again. We'll just deal with it that way. How about lunch instead? We're going to lunch, Mr. Chairman. I move that the committee of the whole beg leave to rise and sit again. All in favor?
You've heard the motion. You've heard the motion. All those in favor? Motion carried. Mr. President.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any messages, Ellen? You ready to go to lunch? Okay. Senator Nethercott,
Surprised.
ready for a motion to take us into lunch?
I do. Mr. President, I move that we stand recessed until 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Any announcements? Any announcements? Senator Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Senate Labor, Health, and Social Services Committee will meet tomorrow, Friday, February 26th, in rooms E001 and online on noon recess to consider House Bill 41 engrossed, Wyoming Highway Patrol DCI and Warden Retirement Benefits Amendments, and House Bill 126 engrossed Human Heartbeat Act.
Thank you. Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee number 1 will meet upon this noon recess at noon in W002 to consider 3 bills: House Bill 83, legislative subpoena penalty; House Bill 102, protecting kids from deepfakes and exploitative images; and House Bill 178, public unions, transparency and dues withdrawal limitations.
All right, thank you. Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. President. Education Committee number 4 will be meeting tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Thus far, we only have one bill, House Bill 159, safeguarding personal expression at K-12 schools, but maybe we'll get another one. 8 o'clock, same room. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Case.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Your committee number 7, corporations, elections, and political subdivisions, will meet tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll be in our usual room, W4, and we'll be online. We've got 3 bills on the list. See if there's any progress in the working group with House Bill 22 engrossed. And then we'll take up House Bill 52 engrossed, elections hand counting for recounts. House Bill 76, exception for annexation with landowner objections dash repeal. And Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, 22 engrossed is recall of elected municipal officers. Looking forward to tomorrow morning, Friday.
All right, thank you. Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Revenue Committee will be meeting tomorrow upon noon recess in Capitol Extension Room W002, not 6, but 2. The location's been changed. We will be covering House Bill 147, property tax exemption effects of People's Initiative, and House Bill 127, voter approval for recreational mill levy. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Salazar.
Mr. President, the Senate Appropriations will be meeting tomorrow on noon recess in E301 to discuss interim topics and possible re-referrals. Today's meeting has been canceled.
All right, thank you. Further announcements? Seeing none. You've all heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Senate will stand recessed till 2 p.m.
Just informally, thanks, Mr. President. I did update the list for general file this afternoon, so be sure to double check that. Same